Hi there, I'm going to do a director's commentary to my first draft of my opening sequence. Okay, so let's get started. So I decided to have the font against the bricks because I thought it was a good opportunity to establish the title for the film as soon as possible. Here, this shot I found a bit too shaky and I couldn't avoid that through stabilizing it in Final Cut. I had the black so I could start this one shot with the first note of the piano, and this eye shot to establish a real sense of character and who she is and what she looks like. Here that was a bit of an error. I had the tracker within the shot, and here as well you can see it's dark outside, which counters to the next shot where it's sunny. So I had to try and get that out. These shots I also found to be slightly too shaky and were very long and potentially unnecessary, so I'm considering taking them out on my next draft. So now as the one song starts to finish, the slower version, the quicker pace of the next one picks up. So now as she starts to realize that she knows where the locations are of the pictures, the exciting, more upbeat piano song starts to start. I had a fade in black to save time, not to have all these long shots of her going to the park. So I could just jump right into the photo matching, which is what the movie is based upon. So here I decided to have these close-ups to show that she's starting to realize that she recognizes all these pictures and her content. That photo match worked particularly well, although I found it hard to focus the background and the picture, so that was an error. Here I'm having lots of zooming in shots just to try and keep up with the fast pace of the piano to suggest excitement. Also a close-up I used to show her excited at the fact that she recognizes the last picture, and potentially the people in it as well. This one picture didn't work as well, and I'm considering taking it out as it seems unnecessary in my next draft. It also seems slightly too long. So once again, the music slows down as she shows her last picture that she finds. This photo match worked very well. Here, this is a repeat of the initial shot, just to test it out, to see what it would look like, because I didn't have any ending shot for the opening sequence. So a huge issue I had with this, with my first draft, is that it seemed like it wasn't going anywhere. It seemed as though the opening sequence wasn't really being established, and where the film would continue on wasn't also being established. So this posed as a conflict initially, and I wasn't sure how I was going to deal with it, so that needed to have further discussion and feedback from my classmates to see if they felt the same way. Initially to that, a lot of the shots I found were too long and weren't necessary. Like this long shot of her walking over, that wasn't really necessary. as well as this shot here where you can actually see the tracking device that also needed to be taken out. This shot I was reasonably pleased with, the focus on it, and it sort of just establishes why she's gone downstairs to look for this book. Here, the coloring didn't really work. I need to try and put some more color matching on that because it's very hard to see that her feet stepping because it's not great quality. So I was pleased with this smooth tracking shot of all the shots. Here, there's another issue. This zoom out pan shot that I had was very shaky and just seemed slightly too long, I found. So in my next draft, I wanted to cut that right out and not have the whole zoom because it just felt unnecessary and didn't add anything to the piece. So here I went with an extreme close-up, and here again, this zooming out, panning across, it was also very shaky, and it took away from the maturity I was trying to achieve of this opening sequence. So as I was saying, I decided to have this just to not to waste any time, just to go straight in there, because had I had footage of her walking to the park, would have potentially disengaged people from watching it, and it just didn't feel necessary. This focus in here also felt slightly too long. It was already very long, this opening sequence, so I was trying to cut it down, and it just this seemed not really necessary. So for my next draft, I wanted to take that out. While filming, I found it very difficult to be able to focus in the picture as well as the background at the same time. So that poses a huge issue. So I was trying to experiment with focusing in and out to establish the photo match. There. This also wasn't great quality. It was hard to focus into the picture and get the real crispness that I desired. Extreme close up there. This again just seemed unnecessary. The zooming out of the butterfly mark on the bench to show her sitting on the bench. It just I was in my next draft. I'm keen on taking out any shots which I don't feel are particularly necessary. Also here, this focus in, I realized I had far too many of these and they didn't add anything particular. Did a photo match here. Here once again, got a blur it in. So here, despite the fact it's shaky, I am glad I decided to do a zoom in pan shot here because as the music paces up, I'm also trying to reflect that in the camera shots and the excitement that she has through finding these different pictures. So here, as you can see, the actual photograph is a lot more colorful and happier than the past. I was trying to suggest here that maybe the present time isn't as gleeful as the past can be. So here, once again, I had a black fade out to black, and then to establish a new scene, I faded in once again. So here I once again have a blur in, and here it's a close-up of her smiling as she realizes the picture of the couple outside. This one seemed, unnecessary. I'm considering taking it out as I want to keep the viewer engaged, and I feel as though I got too many of these, and so it's taking the effect and impact away of the pictures, and it's also not great definition. So here I have a shot of her walking over. Again, seems slightly too long. And I noticed a continuity error I had here. So here, as you can see, she holds it up and matches it against the location. And then this shot shows her throwing it up and matching against the location. So that is an error there. So I needed to decide whether I wanted to have this of her throwing it up or have the medium shot of her lifting it up and then cut right in here to this shot. So as the music slows down here, I'm trying to suggest that this photo is of particular importance, as this was suggested to be her dad, although it's slightly vague at the moment, so this is an issue I'm having currently. And then this was a repeat of the first shot that I used with a different effect. This was just a filler to see the type of ending that I wanted to have. Although, like I said before, it seems too conclusive. I can't imagine what the rest of the film would be about with a shot like this. And here, once again, the extreme close-up of the eye. I've also failed to put in any titles in throughout, which I'm going to do in my next draft, such as, the actress, the director, the producer. So that I'm going to do my next draft and put in my font there. But this is just a rough guideline of the story and the sequence of shots that I wanted.